Have you ever wondered if your self-hatred for the longest time, stuff that you've been dealing with for years and years on end, could actually be the root that is so deep, long forgotten, long hidden, underexplored, or never been explored by any other healthcare professional, be the loophole in your answer to autoimmune disease? Have you actually ever perceived or maybe been ever aware that your self-hatred in your heart, in your mind, could actually be the root cause that could set you free from autoimmune disease? Because that's what we're going to talk about today on this membership site. And if you're here as a trial, free 7-day trial, or if you're a paid subscriber, monthly subscriber, I just want to say thank you for your time, your attention, because people today are shying away from the truth, and the truth needs to get out. And every time someone gets on this membership site and they digest the new truths that I believe not many healthcare professionals, or maybe very, very, very few, unless you're actually in some kind of church or ministry, will actually teach you about spiritual root causes of your health issues. So today, as a way to say thank you, I just want to really encourage you with this word that what you reveal can be healed. Again, a lot of things can be stuck in your unconscious. That means things that you are probably brought up with, things that you go, oh, I was always like that. That was my childhood. I was always an anxious kid. I was always hating myself. Or perhaps you go, that wasn't my childhood, but because of recent trauma that I haven't quite resolved, there were certain things that have come up, and I started feeling more anxious. I started feeling more fearful. I started getting a lot more stressed. And then somehow, somewhere down the line, a disease sprung up. And if that was you, I just want to say that this is the best place I believe you can receive the truth. And not to say that this is the only way, but this is an avenue that I feel will give you a framework that you can now take to your wife, to your husband, to whoever you call your loved ones, and go, now can I really take the next step? And at the end of this video, guys, you will see in the description box down below, and I will talk about it right again at the end, about how you can actually take the next step to download the free PDF, which is titled 100% Healing for Any Disease. And of course, you can actually, if you are on trial, you can sign up for the membership, $25 a month. You can learn about any disease that I upload every single Wednesday. And of course, at the very end, I will talk about a 3T, thoughts, traumas, and toxins. That's the framework that I use to help anyone conquer any disease. And that 3T framework, I call it a 3T interest call, and that is a free resource as well for you to actually take hold of me giving you a sample consultation on Zoom or on Google Meet. And what we'll do is, online, I will actually ask you certain questions that will start to get you to think. And I really want to get into revealing to you the why behind solving this disease of yours, or in this case, autoimmune disease. Solving autoimmune disease has to go beyond patient care in your case. Now, some patients get really good with good results with solving autoimmune disease just by changing their diet. But many people who are stuck in an autoimmune disease do not have answers because they only care about the body. And today, what I want to talk to you for over the next 2 to 3 minutes, it's really a sample, just again honing in on the why behind seeking beyond patient care and actually going through the 3Ts. Not so much the toxins part, because that's really getting into the science, and only when you are in the clinic with me and getting actual proper care that I would be giving you the ingredients and the stuff to eat, food as medicine, and all these things that are probably what most people have already done. So I really just want to take the next 2-3 minutes to fill in the gaps in our healthcare industry today, and that is talking about unresolved trauma. That's the second T, and toxic thoughts. That's the first T. Okay, now autoimmune disease is rooted in self-hatred. Okay, I've talked about that for a while, and I want you guys to understand that at this point, right, if you start having memories, or perhaps your you're getting some recollections of moments where you felt that you didn't deserve anything. You felt like you weren't worthy of love, or you felt like this fear of man, people expressing disapproval to you, therefore creating this perfectionist mindset. Like your motivation for doing stuff is to have someone, or is to have approval, or is to gain recognition, to gain affirmation. All these things can result in this one word called self-hatred. Why? Hatred is rooted in bitterness. Okay, bitterness is the stronghold. It is the key thing that needs to be broken, okay, through, of course, counseling, and of course with ideas of pastoral care, whether you're getting prayer. And of course, I'm a Bible believing Christian who's also a doctor, and I believe in the power of community. And if you are getting community, people around you that can pray for you, that can actually be broken off. Okay, but before we even get to how people can get prayer, because most people get prayer for autoimmune diseases and they just ask for prayer, but statistics actually show that 90% of Christians, 95% of Christians who actually get prayed for, okay, for healing of diseases, including autoimmune diseases, which by the way are 80% of the diseases that are considered incurable, okay, and they never get healed. They get prayer, but they never get healed. Why? Because I believe knowledge is power, but knowledge must not puff you up. Knowledge must not make you shut out every other answer, but knowledge will get you the awareness that you need so that you can unlock the healing that you want. Okay, so again, self-hatred is rooted in bitterness. When bitterness has been going on for a long time, okay, because of whatever things that I said earlier, perhaps a trauma from your dad, your fathers are the one who actually establishes identity and security in you. And if you never grew up with a dad, or perhaps you did grow up with a dad, but your dad was absent, or your dad was constantly angry at you, hateful at you, perhaps he was torturing your mom or abusing you sexually, mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever it is, that bitterness that never got resolved will eventually develop as hatred. And when it develops into hatred, you start to think about retaliation, you start to think about resentment, and that is where the mere mention of that person starts to affect you. Now, when that happens, of course, that's a broken relationship with you and someone else. But that, because if it's a father figure that hurt you, that can actually result in your thinking of yourself like as a lesser person. That you start to think, okay, because I never had a father, and you may not have made that connection because you never had perhaps you never would have made that connection between how your absence of a father or a loving relationship with your dad can actually cause a brokenness within yourself. Because at the end of the day, like I said, your identity and your security, your purpose comes from your dad. Your dad is the one that sows it in you. That's the protective, the provision nature of the father. That's the function of a home that God has given us. Okay, and when you don't have that, you don't have a good foundation from which you can build relationships. And if that's the case, you are now exposed to the world of peer pressure. You're now exposed to the world of rejection, of fear of man, seeking people's approval. And guess what? At the end of the day, you start to feel like you are not amount to anything. So if that is the trauma, okay, that took place, perhaps your dad tortured you, your dad abused you, or whatever it is, that is often the trauma that we need to look at. Okay, again, if you're going, I have an autoimmune disease, or I have a loved one that has an autoimmune disease, but I don't really think that they have some kind of unresolved traumatic relationship with that person, that sufferer's father, then again we have to go lateral and ask, okay, what other relationships could have done that? But I'm just talking about, because the father is plays such a huge role in the family, in the formation of a child's security and identity. Most of us, we find loopholes in the dad and the relationship between the child who is suffering from the autoimmune disease and the dad. Okay, so that is something. And understand that when we talk about relationship health with someone else or with yourself, it is really got to do with the condition of the heart. The heart is the valve of your spirit being. So we were all designed with a spirit, and the spirit either operates out of fear or out of love. The moment you have healthy relationships that is founded on love, it is centered on love. And love produces this thing in your mind where your emotions start to create healthy thoughts, healthy mindsets, and that promotes health. Okay, so love-based relationships that take place in the heart, centered on love, will breed healthy mindsets that will promote health. Okay, that is the spirit, the soul, which is the mind, and of course the emotions as well. They're all intertwined, but I just want to help to break it down so that you understand it a lot easier, and then that will create a healthy body. Okay, but however, on the contrary, if you have fear-based relationships, like everything I talked about earlier, what that does is it creates toxic mindsets. Okay, and psychology and neuroscience proves that toxic mindsets eventually will cause your emotions to go haywire as well. So there is this vicious cycle that keeps getting that perpetuates itself, and what it does is it starts to promote disease. So you think of it this way: fear-based relationships in your heart will create toxic mindsets that can ultimately promote disease. Okay, so at the end of the day, guys, what I wanted to say is autoimmune diseases can be healed, but I want to challenge you, if you haven't found the answer to your particular autoimmune disease, you need to consider going beyond patient care and actually getting down here, whether it is in the clinic right away, or if you want to take a little baby step, right, bridging your problem to the solution. You can download the PDF, you can be a member on the site, just to put your heart in that position to want to know the truth more. Everyone has a different story, and it may take you years. I have clients who have been on my membership site for months before they even jumped on the 3T interest call. If that's you, so be it, but I want you to take that bold step. So whether it's the free PDF, whether it is the free 7-day membership trial, cancel anytime, USD, Singapore dollars, $25 a month, or if it's I would say the largest of the 3 baby steps, which is taking the 3T interest call on my calendar and jumping on a free 30-minute call just to ask in live interaction online, whether this would actually fit you. And I have patients potential clients who have actually jumped on this call, and they ended up saying, "Thank you so much for the truth. I'm not going to go with you, Dr. Ben, but I'm going to go with, say, a counselor who has brought something up that was relatable and relevant." And if I could play that role in your life, that will be a fulfilled calling for me. So at the end of the day, guys, take step, because you will not move forward if you don't do anything different. Okay, you can't change if nothing in you or about you or nothing that you do is changing. So I bless you. Thank you for your time and attention. Again, I applaud you and I encourage you for your courage to take this step to even watch the video, because you are the rare few. Okay, you're the rare few, the ones who have taken this step to say, I want to take my next step to understand the truth. So God bless you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you at the next video for the next disease.